The greatest truth you will ever learn is this: wealth is not created by your hands, it is created by your mind. Your hands may execute the work, your time may fuel it, your actions may shape it, but the spark, the fire, the blueprint of every fortune ever made began long before the world saw it. It began inside a mind trained to think differently, a mind disciplined enough to direct itself toward a single purpose, a mind powerful enough to transform invisible belief into visible reality. Look around at every empire the world admires, the railroads that carved through continents, the electric grids that turned night into day, the machines that reshaped industries, the technologies that connect us across oceans. All of them were once nothing more than a thought, a flicker of imagination inside someone who refused to let that thought die. Edison saw light where others saw darkness. Carnegie saw opportunity in steel where others saw only risk. Ford saw mobility for the masses when the world still believed only the wealthy deserved convenience. Walt Disney saw an entire universe of imagination long before a single brick was laid. These men were not born extraordinary. They did not come from perfect conditions. They did not wait for permission. What they had, what they mastered, was a mindset capable of bending reality toward their purpose. They built wealth first in their minds, then in the world. And that is where your journey begins, not with money, not with resources, not with connections, but with the decision to think in a way the average person never will. Because wealth is not an accident. Wealth is a mindset. Wealth is discipline. Wealth is clarity. Wealth is the relentless refusal to settle for the life the world expects you to live. Success does not start with action. It starts with belief. And not the soft, shallow kind of belief that crumbles under pressure, but the iron belief that survives criticism, failure, doubt, and loneliness. The belief Napoleon Hill wrote about when he said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve." This is not poetry. This is not motivational sugar. This is the psychological law behind every monumental achievement in human history. Most people never build wealth because they wait for certainty. They wait for signs. They wait for confidence to magically appear. But confidence does not come first. Belief does. You move, you walk into the unknown, you step onto the path before the world validates you. That is how every builder of wealth begins, with a decision that the life they desire is worth fighting for, worth sacrificing for, worth becoming someone new for. And the first transformation happens internally, in the quiet moments when you confront yourself with the truth you've avoided for years. The truth that your current results are not accidents, they are reflections of your thinking. If your thinking is scattered, your life becomes scattered. If your thinking is reactive, your life becomes reactive. If your thinking is small, your opportunities become small. But if your thinking expands, your life expands with it. You must learn to see what others cannot see, possibilities hidden beneath obstacles, opportunities disguised as problems, paths that don't yet exist but can be built with intention. This is what Hill called accurate thinking, the discipline of separating facts from noise, truth from emotional distortion, vision from fear. The average mind collapses under fear. The wealth-creating mind rises above it. And understand this clearly. Wealth does not come to those who merely wish for it. Wishes are weak. Wishes dissolve the moment life applies pressure. Wealth comes to those who are willing to direct their minds with purpose, who convert thought into organized action, who discipline themselves to think long-term when the world is obsessed with short-term comfort. Your mindset becomes the architect of your future the moment you stop treating success like luck and start treating it like a skill. The wealthy do not think in terms of if, they think in terms of when. They do not ask whether opportunity will appear. They cultivate the mindset that attracts opportunity. They do not wait for the right conditions. They create the conditions. Because wealth is not built by chance, it is built by consistency. It is built by the disciplined mental habits you practice every day, controlling your thoughts, directing your focus, mastering your emotions, sharpening your clarity, protecting your energy, and aligning your actions with your deepest purpose. And once you understand this, once you accept that wealth begins within you, not outside of you, everything changes. Because now you are no longer fighting the world. You are shaping it through the power of your own mind. When you begin to treat your mind as the source of your wealth, you also begin to understand why so few ever reach greatness. Most people spend their lives trying to change their circumstances, but never their thoughts. They try to fix the outside while ignoring the inside. They chase money without developing the mindset capable of sustaining it. They want success without the internal architecture that makes success inevitable. And so they stay trapped, not because they lack potential, but because they lack direction. Not because they lack intelligence, but because they lack clarity. Not because they lack talent, but because they lack discipline. Wealth demands clarity of purpose. It demands the courage to decide exactly what you want and the willingness to take full responsibility for achieving it. This is where the journey becomes uncomfortable. Because the moment you define your purpose, the moment you declare to yourself what you truly want, you expose every excuse that has held you back. You see where you've been lying to yourself. You see the habits that sabotage your growth. You see the comfort that has been quietly killing your potential. And most people turn back at this stage because clarity forces confrontation. But you are not here to turn back. You are here to break through. Understand this. Every individual who ever built extraordinary wealth learned to confront themselves with ruthless honesty. They learned to silence the noise of the world long enough to hear their own vision. They learned to trust the quiet inner voice that says, I am meant for more. That voice is your compass. That voice is your advantage. That voice is your true identity trying to break through the limits you've accepted for too long. Clarity is the foundation of a wealth-building mindset. Without clarity, you drift. With clarity, you rise. So ask yourself with brutal honesty, what life do you truly want? Not the life others expect. Not the life society conditioned you to settle for. Not the life your past mistakes suggest you deserve, but the life that ignites you, the life that challenges you. The life that your potential is begging you to pursue. You can lie to the world, but you cannot lie to your mind. It knows when you are shrinking. It knows when you are avoiding your purpose. It knows when you are playing small. And the longer you ignore that truth, the heavier life becomes. Because nothing drains a person faster than living below their capabilities. Once clarity takes root in your mind, the next transformation is discipline, the force that separates dreamers from builders, wishers from achievers, spectators from creators. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is self-respect. It is the daily declaration that your goals matter, that your future matters, that you matter. Every great builder of wealth had discipline woven into the fabric of their lives. Thomas Edison worked thousands of experiments not because he enjoyed failure, but because his purpose was stronger than his comfort. Henry Ford pushed through ridicule and bankruptcy not because he loved suffering, but because his vision was more valuable than his fears. Oprah Winfrey transformed her entire destiny not because she had the perfect conditions, but because she had the discipline to keep showing up long after the world doubted her. Discipline is the bridge between the mind you have and the life you want, and here is the truth. Discipline is not built in grand moments. It is built in small decisions, the decision to work when your emotions resist, the decision to focus when distractions call your name, the decision to stay committed long after the excitement has faded. Wealth is built in these moments, in these choices, in these disciplines that compound silently over time. Because discipline strengthens something inside you that the world cannot break, self-trust. When you keep your promises to yourself, you become unstoppable. You no longer rely on motivation. You rely on identity. You no longer chase momentum. You create it. You no longer hope for progress. You expect it, and that expectation shapes your entire reality. You begin to walk differently, speak differently, think differently. You begin to operate with a kind of internal power that others can feel but cannot understand. Because the average person waits for motivation, the wealth builder creates it. The average person waits for opportunity, the wealth builder becomes the opportunity. The average person waits for certainty, the wealth builder moves forward with belief. Understand this clearly. Wealth is not a result of what you do once. Wealth is a result of who you become repeatedly. It is the result of daily mental conditioning, daily discipline, daily alignment with your purpose. It is the reward for thinking differently, acting intentionally, and refusing to settle for anything less than the life you are capable of creating. Your mind is your greatest asset, and every day you are either training it or wasting it.